IRC Media brings you the first source you can watch for truth on board decisions in Indian River County. The Board Report, where taxpayers and policymakers intersect. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform to get notified when we go live on Fridays at 7 p.m. Visit IndianRiverConnections.com for more.
John, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Yep.
How's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. So we have a really good evening tonight. We've got Jackie Rosario on, and the school district is going through an increase with health care that's really going to affect employees. And we're going to talk about that today with Jackie. And I really love how she advocated for the staff and employees. She really laid out some important points. And we're going to go over that today with her.
Yeah, she's always been, tip of the spear, always looking out for the best interests of the people that voted for her. That's unfortunately a lot of times we don't have those people on the board looking out for the common people that are, trying to make a living and trying to, get by, and the ones that educate our children. And it's not easy. It's a not easy job. And I'm glad she's running for re-election as well.
Yeah, and I think she really can relate because she is, she's a single mom too. She's raised her son on her own as well. Of course, she has an ex-husband that supports whatever he can do, but she understands the balance that you have between work and home and healthcare and working on a budget. And I really was very happy with how she advocated for the employees. You and I, we worked for the county as well, and we need people like that fighting for us, sticking up for us.
Yeah, no, that's true because even when I got fired from the chamber, for speaking up at the school board meetings, not many people came to my back and and had my back at that time, and those are the people that I know that did have my back, like Jackie and others that that we obviously collaborate here at Indian River Connections IRC Media, so who you can turn to when you need to.
Yeah, so I know Jackie's not going to have a long time with us, so let's break for a commercial and we'll be back with Jackie.
Cool.
There's a kind of strength you can't buy or borrow. It's born in the fire, tempered by sacrifice, and carried by those who never stopped serving. Some heroes wear and carried by those who never stopped serving. Some heroes wear uniforms and carried by those who never stopped serving. Some heroes wear uniforms. Others wear scars. They're veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families. Men and women who gave everything and still keep giving. At the Warrior Shield Foundation, we stand beside them, shoulder to shoulder, providing the support, the care, and the community they deserve. We're a proud non-profit, a 501c3, built to protect those who protect us. We don't just serve our own. We help other nonprofits reach their missions too, because together, we make the Shield stronger. Donate and help our cause, help their cause, because every act of kindness builds hope where the battle still rages inside. Join the mission. Donate today. Visit warriorshield.org, because heroes deserve a foundation as strong as their sacrifice.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we
Yeah,
can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Oh,
Very
thank you.
good.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. So, Jackie, tell us what's going on with the school district and this health insurance. I really love how you've been advocating for everybody.
Thank you. As a board member, I was told that we would have a slight increase proposal. And when I saw on Friday, close to 4 p.m., the presentation by the superintendent, he posted it on board docs. And when I saw the numbers, I nearly fell off my chair.
Huh.
I just couldn't believe that they were so high and how this would impact, employees. Most importantly, I didn't really know much about it. So I started doing research and I spent the whole weekend not going to sleep until 2 o'clock in the morning, just kind of finding out as much as I could. Where we were, what could we do, what are some options to avoid, a insurance increase, a premium increase for employees. And I'm sure that I was hoping that the district would have already done all of these things, but you're talking from Friday, late afternoon was when I received these numbers in this presentation, just like everybody else. It was posted publicly, but our workshop was on Monday. So it's not like there was a lot of time. It's not like there was at least 7 days, a week in between, for people to be able to take all of this in and then submit their questions. So in the interim, I'm like, people aren't going to see this stuff. They need to see it, and I need to hear from them, because if this isn't a big deal, then as an elected official, I won't make it a big deal. But if this is a big deal, then we should be talking about it more rather than just accepting what the superintendent says and and go from there. And sure enough, I posted it on social media. And really, I just didn't make it controversial. I just said this was posted when it was posted. These are the proposed increases. Just please let me know how this might affect you. And it just took off from there.
And that's what a representative should do, especially when you have that short time frame right there from Friday to Monday. How's anybody really gonna know about it? Everybody's going about their weekend, and all of a sudden this happens and people are like, what just happened?
Right.
So
And
it's
and also you want to get the pulse of the community and your constituents to see what they feel ahead of time, because you had short notice. So you want to use social media. That's what it's meant for, is social media, to be able to get that feedback.
Yeah.
it's a perfect way to reach everybody,
Yeah.
right? And did you get a lot of responses?
Not initially. I didn't get a lot of I got a few, but of the few, I was told many others are afraid to email.
Of course.
They're very concerned, but they're afraid of backlash. They're afraid of repercussions if they submit an email and put their concerns out there. So after the dust kind of settled a little bit, then I started to get more. More responses, and it's concerning. It's really concerning that they were willing at the time to. I mean, if you follow the way that this went on Wednesday at our workshop, if I didn't push back and spend as much time asking questions and making suggestions to avoid a premium increase, the board members, minus me, the board members would have put their stamp of approval on this, because that's exactly what they said. The consensus was, this is the only way to go. We don't have any other choice. Let's let the superintendent do what he has to do. He got his consensus, and it would have continued that way. I believe it would have continued in that way. And come July 1st, people would have had a massive increase. But then 2 days later, lo and behold, the superintendent sent out an email, which I'm grateful for, that they weren't going to do it. They were going to put a hold on increases altogether and see what would happen in October.
You asked
Wow.
some really good questions. You asked about fraud claims. You asked about where can we get this money from. You asked, about you made suggestions to regenerate with other providers to go back and look at and try to get more providers in there. You asked about rebates. So your mind was clicking. You were like, how do we level this out? Because you realize it's going to be so hard on the employees that, like you said, you gave some examples. I have a sound bite of you giving a perfect example of what it's like for an employee. And I want to play that for everybody to
Okay.
hear. So let's bring that up.
The ultimate goal. I mean, that's really, my focus is I do not want to hurt employees any more than they're already hurting. And some of the recommended changes in premiums up
And then
$1,100
let's
a
go
month,
to the
that's just
sound bite
crazy.
where you're actually explaining how it's going to affect employees. And you're giving a perfect example.
Increases. I'm not talking about what we're currently doing. I'm talking about the increases.
So
And
can I
it's-
ask one question though? This is a specific insurance plan? Is this like?
Yes.
Which one is it?
The low family plan.
So is this
The increase, the proposed increase low family plan.
so the low family plan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The low family plan is $17,700 a year for the low family plan that's being recommended. An executive assistant to the school board, $48,500. There's a little change there. Low family plan, $17,700. The salary would be
Mr. Rosario, you're calling out a
$21,968.
specific person. Could we
No,
just?
I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
you
talking
are.
titles.
You-
Take home would be.
There's only one person in that position.
But you're blowing it up. I'm not blowing anybody up. I'm talking about specific titles. The take-home would be
nothing.
$1,830. Teachers. Teachers starting at $48,583 a year. On the low family plan of $17,700 would take home, would wind up that would be a $30,883 a year, or $2,573 a month. Just the increase on that low family plan alone. I don't even know where you can find rent for $2,500 a month nowadays, maybe $2,300 a month. I'm not saying that we don't need to talk about an increase, because clearly we do in premiums. I just think that the increases here are obscene.
Yeah, good point. In 2011, my rent was $16,000 a year. Can you imagine?
16,000 or 1,600?
16,000 a year.
Oh, a year.
A year.
A little
So-
over $1,000 a month.
Yeah. So that health insurance plan, I'm hearing it, I'm going, that was my rent in 2011. So they're basically paying for a two-bedroom condo, because that's what I paid for in 2011. And what else? They're going to lose their taxes. Their tax comes out of that, 22% tax. And then food, housing. It's incredible. You made a very good point.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I mean, and that was just very, very generic. It was very, it was a high overview. It didn't include, obviously, like you mentioned, the taxes. It didn't include the mandatory contribution to their retirement fund, Florida retirement system. It doesn't include things like vision and dental and life insurance and all the other options that someone would have. I mean, you keep taking all of those things away, and people are going to come home with nothing, near nothing. I mean, And then I was looking at the poverty line. I think the poverty line is $23,000 a year or something like that, whatever that minimum number is to reach poverty. And no one in the school district would be at that level on paper because, everyone is, their salary on paper is over that poverty limit. But with their take home, who would qualify for assistance? Who would qualify for anything else to help them make ends meet? No one would.
The insurance alone would take them below the poverty line if they're a low-end secretary or clerk that's making $23,000 a year.
But that doesn't qualify you for any benefits. What qualifies you for benefits is before taxes, is anything before taxes, not after. So it would really put people in a very, very, very bad situation. And look, I understand the need. I understand that the district has a very, very serious need. We've had a lot of claims that have brought us way over budget that we have to pay for. I mean, clearly. I understand that our revenues are not as high as our expenses, and that's why we are in this situation. We are self-insured, so those people who are buying into the medical plans have to cover the difference, and the district has to cover their part too. And I get it. I get the need. I just wanted to make sure that we expended every single option, every single thing that might be out there to avoid, going, making the first thing that we do is increase premiums. I think we needed to do other things to make sure that we were covering every option that's out there. And I guess we didn't do that at first. We were willing to, go ahead and increase premiums. My thing is increasing premiums at first shot is just a Band-Aid. It's not really talking about the root. It's not really, trying to do a deep dive into how we got here in the first place, or, what else can be done to triage the situation.
Jackie, does the employee clinic help with that, or is it another expense that the school has taken on that they shouldn't have?
It's another expense, but it doesn't make or break the bank. The clinic has been a really great help, in fact.
Okay.
And it, from what I have seen and from what I know, from what I hear, the clinic is a great resource for people locally because you don't have to pay for, it's coming out of their premium too. But they don't have to pay for co-pays when they go. You go into the clinic, you come out with your medicines, you can get your blood work there, you can do everything, a general practitioner that would be taken care of at a general practitioner's office, referrals for x-rays, things like that. All of that stuff is covered with the clinic, and I actually think the clinic is a great thing.
Okay, that's good to know.
Oh yeah. But if we had to do away with it, we'd have to talk about it. But right now, I hope we don't. It's been a great benefit for employees.
Yeah. So going forward, do you think they're going to start really doing a deep dive and seeing where they can pull money from?
Yes, I do think so. Obviously, 2 days after the workshop, the superintendent, like I said, he sent out an email saying that is exactly what is going to happen. They're going to tighten their bootstrings, and they're going to not increase employee salaries as of July 1st. We have not had a public discussion about what that would look like come October, but hopefully come October, we won't need to do that. Maybe, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but, maybe without, I don't want to open up my mouth too soon and make any suggestions about what there should be or could be, or I just know that somehow or another, we have a over $400+ million budget. And one of the things that I requested was a financial audit of our insurance fund, and that was not well accepted.
Yeah, because you wanted to see if there was any possible fraud going on in there.
Well, yeah, and not blaming the district,
Yeah.
the fraud, there have been medical fraud from practitioners in the community in the past, and they have been, under the radar of the, sorry, one of my sons just walked in. They have been under the radar and have been accused of and prosecuted for it. So I just wanted to make sure, because you never know who's out there, and
yeah, it's just like somebody
making
stealing your
fraudulent claims
ID.
against Florida Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then the employees have to pay for that.
But I want to tell you just what a great job you did standing up for the staff and employees and bringing up a lot of, I can tell that you stay up late at night researching because you are so well prepared when you bring it to the table.
Yeah, and then I get challenged by fellow board members because I'm spending time talking when actually this is the time to talk. It is a workshop for that reason.
Exactly.
We're supposed to engage in discussion.
Yeah.
If you don't come to the table and have anything to say, that's on you.
Well,
I come to the table, I have questions.
And I love that about you because you really are, you're doing some critical thinking, and that's what it takes to be in that seat. And some people can just sit there and do the hem and haw and yay and nay, but you're actually thinking about how these policies, how things affect the working people that are in the school district. And it's important, it should be important to all of us because they're the body of the district. They're what makes it function. And if people are going to have,
you're going to have, if you did that increase and you didn't use discernment and bring it up to the table at the workshop, you were going to lose a lot of people. A lot of teachers might have been like, I can't work here anymore. Like, I'm going to be broke. Like, I got to go find another job. Like, forget this. And then you're already short as it is as far as teachers go, and and also with enrollment. I mean, Dr. Moore he's always he and hawing about, we got to get more people to school. We got to get more, we got to be more competitive, and integrate and all that stuff. And then then they blow the whole thing over with the insurance. Like it's not a big deal. Like, oh, well, it's going to go up. Nothing we can do about that. And then next thing you know, everybody's quitting. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we've come a long way academically. I mean, we have 100% of our schools are A's and B's. But if you're right, if you don't have teachers in the classrooms with our students, that's going to, our academics are going to take a deep
dive.
Dip. Yeah, it's going to take a dip quickly. So we really need to keep people where they are so that we can move forward with the momentum that we have underneath our wings and, not rock the boat at this point. I mean, that's the whole point of working as hard as everyone has been working, which they're doing incredible work. But, this is just not the time for it.
Yeah, and I think it's a real battle because even Pasca kind of circled around that. He's, where he sees insurance premiums going up. And a lot of the time we get a raise and all of a sudden we don't feel the raise because our insurance went up. So we're still at the bottom of the pit because we got our raise, but then insurance went up.
Yeah, I said that too. I said, I don't want that to happen. I think it was kind of mentioned and I questioned the superintendent on that because that's inappropriate. You cannot say, well, we'll increase premiums and then in the same breath also talk about giving people a raise that would
$1,000 a year.
Be equivalent or, like
that's
the
double speak. Double speak. Well, it's double speak. It's speaking out of two sides of your mouth, and that's what happens. Remember, like this, the biggest part of this whole thing is that there's too much money in circulation. This country is printing way too much money. There's too much paper. That's why everything's so expensive. It's not because of inflation. It's because insurance premiums are rising, property taxes are going up. Nobody's making more money, and they just keep printing more money. And that's why we're having this problem in the workforce, is because of that reason, because there's too much money and not enough income coming in for people, and too much going out the window, and nothing's getting any better, nothing's getting any easier. And I think that's a big concern, and that's why it caught you by surprise. But the people sitting on the rest of the panel didn't seem to really be too concerned about it, and that's a scary thought.
It really
Yeah.
is. It really is. Well, Jackie, tell us about your event this weekend.
Oh, thank you. It is tomorrow at 2 p.m. at 21st Amendment. I hope you all can go. It is my campaign kickoff. And so lots of friends will be there, and I hope that you all will be there. And if you can't, that's okay. We can catch the next one. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to just kind of, pal around, and then I'll give my little spiel about the campaign and my rerun for school board.
So, will you be termed out if you win this election again?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
This will be it.
So imagine those years have gone by so fast, haven't they?
They have indeed. So this would be the last time around. And I hope to stay on the board because we still have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
We are in the middle of consolidating some schools and moving, moving things around because of school choice and because of some of the changes that have happened. And so it's important to keep that momentum going. Why upset the apple cart when you don't need to? And then the other thing is, I want to talk also about AI moving forward. And I love what AI can do. I think it's important. But I don't believe that AI should be pushed in our schools. I do not believe that children should have full access to it. I just don't. I don't want to diminish independent thinking. I don't want to diminish. It's so easy to become reliant on AI, even for emails nowadays and for all kinds of things. We want children to communicate, to talk, to
formulate their own thoughts and structure of their sentencing, when they're writing their paragraphs.
Yeah, absolutely. To come up with their own projects and to really brainstorm through things. And, if we expose children too early, it could definitely be harmful.
So Jackie, I'm sorry to interrupt, but has there been a discussion on how you guys are going to approach that so that it stays on that educational path and not an abusive path?
Yeah, we just had, right after the workshop on the discussion on health insurance, we had a discussion on AI, artificial intelligence. And the district has begun efforts to create an AI task force. And the task force is looking at all of these, all of the ways in which the district can implement AI safely and effectively. And they have come up with a list that was also generated at the workshop, a list of pillars that, safeguards that need to be implemented. But we haven't put them in. We already have a policy, an AI policy, but I think it needs to be strengthened. And what I don't want is for someone to come in and try to take over, with the whole, let's just, bring full AI in and let's give children access to it. I mean, that doesn't do us any good. It's not going to help children later on. They have plenty of time to learn it. They're going to learn it at home. They're going to learn it on their phones. They're going to learn it some other way. We don't necessarily have to push that stuff in our schools.
Yeah, they have plenty of opportunity to get access to it outside of school, Have you guys discussed or researched any other schools that are doing the same thing, approaching AI in an educational way?
Oh, districts, yeah. I have friends who are school board members in other districts, and they're doing the same exact thing. Encouraging, I mean, we all seem to be on the same page because it is very scary what could be out there. And they're all approaching it similarly with AI task forces, looking at all of the potential benefits and the potential harm that it could bring, and then creating. Well, what we're doing is we're working top down. So what we don't want in conversation is for teachers to already say, okay, here is the open door for kids to use AI. Instead, we want it to start from the top level, principals, administration to principals, and then principals will discuss at some point, it hasn't happened yet, but will begin with training how to safely use AI and implement it in the classroom, little by little, certainly not for everyone, and then to the students. So it'll be a little while before we get there, but I'm totally okay with the slow movement.
Does that mean the schools are going to have to start amping up their cybersecurity, their security systems, computer security access systems?
Well, we have really, really tight security systems as it is, which is fantastic. The one thing that I did question was the use of AI chatbots. Those are the things that I worry about big time, because those are the, imaginary friends that kids are having,
Oh,
who
yeah.
pretend to be who they really are not. And kids, frankly, just don't care. And there have been, unfortunately, there have been some suicides
Wow.
from children who have had a chat box kind of tell them, how to create a noose and how to commit suicide.
Wow.
And it's only been found out later on through searching the history of ChatGPT and some of these other
That they were talking to a chat box the whole time.
that it was a chat box the whole time. So those are the things that worry me. I don't want chat bots for sure. I mean, those are extremely dangerous.
You almost need to teach the parents on how to have a system that mimics what your kid's computer has to see it, but then you also have the phone situation where you need to monitor that as well. It's really challenging to be a parent these days.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, my son, oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming to try to keep on top of the phone, the iPad, the computer. How many different options are there? How many apps are there? How many websites can you go to? The history. You could just, it goes on and on. Social media, if there is social media, which social media, and then you got to go through the history of the social. It's exhausting. It really is exhausting. So if we could just do away with it wholly, completely, that would be better.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I think I think a lot of people are using it already. The kids are going to use it one way or the other in the schools, whether you put a curb on it, try to curb it or not. I mean, we just got the phones kind of taken out of their hands a little bit during school time. That's just one step in that direction. But I think you got to have to just people are going to have to discern for themselves how to use the AI. I mean, I have an iPhone 7, so like I don't fall into that trap where I keep getting the same technology and all that. I try not to do that, and you have to choose for yourself whether you're going to use the technology and how you're going to use it. I mean, it can be used for
Mhm.
good, but it's all about how you use it. Like you said, it's these chat boxes having these conversations with a non-human entity that's learning from you as it's self-aware and it's self-absorbing everything that you're putting into it. We give the AI the power to be able to do what it does. We
Mhm.
have to give it its commands, and then it does what it does, and then it becomes self-aware, and that's the scary part.
Yeah, it's kind of scary how it figures you out, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, it doesn't figure
Because it
you out.
remembers your history.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jackie, thank you so much for coming on. Did you want to give everybody your campaign website where they can donate?
Sure, reelectjackie.com. That is reelectjackie.com. There's a link on there, several links on there, but there is definitely one that you'll find for donations. The donations can be mailed by check, or you can make them electronically online. And I ask for donations because campaigns are not cheap. And I can't do this without the help of the people who elect me. So any little bit counts, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can do. I cannot accept more than $1,000, but per person. Yeah, anything that anyone is able to give. Of course, we're in a very, very hard time in our society, so I completely understand when you can't, and that's totally okay. You don't have to just tell someone next to you, your neighbor, to vote for me, and that would be great. Also, petitions. I need petitions signed so that I can get on the ballot. Those are also on my website, reelectjackie.com.
All right. Well, thank you, Jackie, for joining us today, and we look forward to having you on again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate
All
it.
right. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Well, that was a great interview, John.
Yeah, it was good. Jackie's always great. She's got great insight. Like I said, she's the lone wolf. She's the tip of the spear when it comes of the school board in this area. I mean, nothing against the people that are on the board with her, but a lot of them are just they're not for the parents. They just want to just look out for themselves and it's up to the people to decide who's going to be on the board. And so, of course, reelect Jackie is she's got my vote.
Yeah, she's got my vote too. She's really worked hard, and like I said earlier, I can tell that she stays up all night and she really focuses on the information that she's bringing to the table because she's brings it with clarity, she brings it with statutes. She's determined to give the message and deliver it so you can understand it. And like I said, she was asking all of these questions. I didn't hear any of the other board members asking questions about. She even brought up an incident where there was previous fraud a few years ago, like she was mentioning, acupuncture, somebody taking advantage. And
Hmm.
she asked about prescription contracts. The other guys weren't asking these questions, they were more interrupting when they could.
Yeah.
Like when she was giving an example, reading something that's on the public can see. You can pull it up on an employee website, the pay
Hmm.
schedules for
Yeah.
the titles, if you
I
wanted to
know.
apply for a job and figure out how much you would start at. And
Hmm.
that's all she was doing. She was using those as examples so that
Yeah.
people could understand the impact it's having on the staff,
Yeah. Well,
which
you see the people the ones that lash out and start to push back. Those are the ones that, for some reason, they either have something to hide or they know that there might have been something going on, and we don't want to go down that rabbit hole of doing an audit of the insurance money and the budget and all that. Then it's like we don't want to go down that. We'll just pass it and call it a day, and let's let it slide. And she doesn't let things like that slide. She's
Mhm.
one of the only ones of all the years I've been going to the school board meetings since 2020 and 21, 2020. It just, she was always the one that was always doing her due diligence and doing the homework and came prepared. Even there was times I would see that the attorney didn't even know what was going on with the books. And he was like, well, I don't know. The statute means that you can shut the books down or you can what? She didn't, she knew. And there was a few times where she put the kibosh on it real quick with the attorney. And the attorney was like, I'm sorry, but you're right, Jackie. Like she makes sure she comes to the table prepared. And some of these other board members, they just don't think about that. They're there for the
Mm-mm.
stature. They're there just to be there, and that's who they are, and that's all there is. And she's not about that. It's not ego.
No, it's not. It's always been about the people. And she remembers, she's a constitutional representative and she's there for the people. That's why she's there. The people put her there to
Yep.
speak for them, to, think about them, not about herself. And, like you said, popularity.
Yeah.
And she's done such a good job. I would like to see her finish, term out with
Hmm.
all the good things that are happening. Like she said, the changes that are going to happen, with the Flick and Oslo and the what do you, the new school. What is it called again? The
Yeah,
classical school.
classic. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
There's a lot going on. So it would be
No,
nice to see her through that.
terming out, that's a hell of an accomplishment. I can tell you that, especially in this day and age in politics and school boards flipping chairs and seats. That's one amazing accomplishment, and she'll finish it because she was out to finish what she started. She didn't just pack it
Mhm.
in like some of these other ones that just did one thing and then left, and then that just she was there from start to finish, and you got to give her tip your hat to her.
Yeah, and she got her doctorates while she
That's
was
right.
doing all this,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, she got her doctorate as she's doing all this due diligence and doing all this work. But you got other school board members, like David Dyer, that isn't going for a doctorate. He's retired and has plenty of money. So
Yeah,
they're not going to take the time to do the due diligence. They're going to be too busy having lunch at the country club, and not
yeah.
not doing the right thing for the people. And that's, again, it's a popularity contest. And Jackie's not about popularity contest. She's about, like, doing the job, not getting up there just because it looks good and it's the end of their career, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know. Well, John, I wanted to, tell you what a great show you had the other night on talking about the conspiracies, because
Oh,
this is great because of this conspiracy club 101 is
yep,
next Thursday.
yep, yep. So yeah, so that next Thursday at Filthy's Fine Cocktails and Beer from 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to do another uh, Conspiracy Club 101, and bring some topics that you want to talk about. We're going to kind of split it in groups this time around and do a podcast, and then have different tables of subject matter if anybody wants to talk about that and get like-minded people together. I mean, it's how ironic that we've started this club after all this time, and now all these conspiracies are like coming up, and everybody's like, "Wait a minute, is that true? That really happened? Like, wait a minute, is that true too? That was a conspiracy, but
All
now
you
it's
got to do
not."
is turn on the TV and you've got a conspiracy right there in the
It's
news.
crazy. I know.
Like,
Yeah,
where's Guthrie? Is she still alive, the poor
yeah,
lady?
yeah.
We were
It's
talking
all.
about it in my living room today.
Yeah,
And
it's everything's a distraction from what the real truth is, and so that's why the conspiracy theory term was made up, was to get you to look one way and not this way. Look over there, don't look over here. And that's what it was meant for. Is that it's actually conspiracy truths, but timing is great, and so we'll have plenty to talk about. And we got T-shirts and stickers, and we're going to get some hats and some other merch that we'll have, and hopefully we'll bring a bunch more people. We got a Facebook page now, and so we're just going to just keep building it, and hopefully we'll get more people to come. And we thank Filthies for letting us be there, Nick Novak and his wife, and everybody that comes down and checks it out and becomes a part of it. So it's a good group. Everybody's excited. I get a lot of compliments and a lot of people talking about it when I go out in the public. They're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to be there. Oh, I'm going to get a shirt." Like, so it's like they're just it's building momentum. So it's a beautiful thing.
yeah, how much are the shirts going to go for?
I think the shirts are $20, so you get
Yeah,
20
and
bucks.
they're nice shirts. I love how the
Yeah, they're
shirts
nice
came out.
shirts. Yeah, I already shipped. I
Yeah.
shipped one up to Canada. I shipped another one up to, I think, West Virginia. So I've had people reach out like, "Send me a shirt." I'm like, "Okay." So yeah, so
Yeah,
it's kind
no,
of funny.
yeah, the shirts came out really good. And guys, if you come to conspiracy night and you stay after 8, just
Oh yeah,
sign up for karaoke.
yeah, yeah. It's true. You got that Courtney's karaoke, and it's a new karaoke guide too this time. So apparently it's a little more exciting than the other guy that was kind of there.
Oh, yeah, there's a
Yeah,
new guy?
the new guy is going to do it. Yeah, it's one of Nick Novak's buddies. So it's going to be. I'm looking forward to
Oh, so
seeing who this
maybe
is.
the
Yeah.
selection of music will be
It'll be a little
different.
bit, yeah, a little more smoother transition than into the other stuff. So yeah, so Courtney's karaoke from 8 to 11. So we go right into that. So we're like the opening act, Conspiracy Club 101 opening act for Courtney's karaoke. So
Yeah,
check it
it's a
out.
lot of fun. It's
Yeah, it
really a
is.
lot of fun.
It
Everybody
is a lot of
comes
fun.
out. We got some people that come every day. We've got our regulars now, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. My brother he called me today. He's like, "You still going? You still having it next week?" I'm like, "Yep." So I mean, So people are it's top of mind now. So I mean, and again, a lot of stuff's coming out. So we talked about it on the TGI Now podcast about the Epstein and if he's still alive. And we said that years ago. We said that when we started our podcast 4.5 years ago. So a lot of the stuff we talked about on our TGI Now show, if you go back to 2.5 years ago, you'll see that we talked about Pizzagate and all that on there 2.5 years ago. We did a show about Pizzagate, and now I just reposted it and it got a bunch of views. So future proofs past events.
Yeah, I found a soundbite from Steve Bannon interviewing Epstein,
Oh,
and it
nice.
wasn't supposed to get out. And so you don't see Steve Bannon, and in the very beginning of the interview, he says, "You're going to have to repeat the question because nobody's going to hear my voice. They're just going to hear your answers." And
Oh,
I ended up watching the whole interview. It was a very long interview, but the reason I ended up watching it is because I never really understood how mathematically intelligent
uh-huh.
Epstein was. This
Yeah,
guy was brilliant.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, he's
And and
yeah,
Bannon says to him, "Are you the devil?"
yeah,
And he's like, "Why do you ask me that?" And he says, "Because the devil's smart. And
yeah,
you're smart. You're like all these things." And some of the questions, so I did a little clip on it because I wanted to promote the conspiracy
yeah, yeah,
101 club, the conspiracy club 101. And I was like, these are little teasers for you.
hmm
um, Come out to conspiracy club on Thursday. But
yep.
I ended up watching the whole thing because I was like, I've never really listened to the man talk.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wow, he's really,
Well, they're
he
clever. They
is
got the
so
clever
clever.
mindset. Yeah, it's a clever mindset. You remember the devil's not a creation, creator, he's a creation. So whatever the devil or whoever, has that mindset, they're
Mm,
a creation of, so they have to be deceptive, so they have to be deceivers. They have to bob and weave and be able to, have knowledge about things to coerce people into doing things that they never
mhm,
thought they would ever do. And that's what happens. And that's why a lot of these people are compromised, because they did things they never thought they would do. They got coerced to go to an island, or they got
mhm.
coerced to go somewhere over here, or got coerced to be with a girl that might have been underage, but they didn't know it. The girl looked like she was 19, but she was really 15. You get coerced into doing things like that, and that's what the great deceiver's good at.
Yeah, yeah. So, good show. I enjoyed watching your show.
Thank
It
you.
was a little bit towards the end, but I ended up replaying it so I could watch it the whole
Nice.
thing.
Yeah.
But good show. I enjoyed that. You
Yeah, we're
know.
gonna have a guest next week. We're gonna have one of our old guests, Thundercat, is his nickname. He's a conspiracy guy too. So he's gonna be on the show next week. He was on the show about 2 years ago, so I'm looking forward to having him back on the show.
Wow, that's great.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
great. Yeah, I'll be having Michael Dilks on Tuesday
Oh,
at
nice. Oh,
7
sweet.
PM. Yeah, so I kind of wanted to interview him because he's from up north.
Yep.
He lived in New Jersey and grew up in New York and then moved to Florida. So I kind of wanted to
Yeah.
talk with him. I was like, hey, he's like from my old neck of the woods, and
Yeah.
might
That's
be
awesome.
fun interviewing him. And
And don't
then
forget, you can do the gun club, the gun stuff TV people too. They're available for interviews too. So don't forget about them. I'll get you their information.
okay, yeah.
A lot of them that are on that podcast, since they're on our YouTube channel and exclusively on YouTube through IRC Media, we can bring some of their hosts onto our platforms too, and vice versa.
Very cool, very
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
So anyway, it was a good night. I really enjoyed the night with you and Jackie and Dr. Rosario.
Right? Yeah, that's awesome. How far she's come. We've come all full circle. Now
So,
she's Dr. Rosario now after all these years. That's awesome.
so now we have two doctorates on the board, Dr.
Right?
Pasca and Dr. Rosario.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us here on the board report with John and myself and Dr. Rosario. Remember, she has an event tomorrow at
Yep.
21st Amendment. It's 21st Amendment, right?
Yep.
And
Distillery.
it's at 2 p.m.
Yeah, I
And
won't be
so
there. I got hockey, so I won't be there. But
yeah, I'll probably stop by. I'll be out and about, so I'll definitely stop by to visit and see who else has showed up. And everybody have a good evening. Remember, we're on every Friday at 7 p.m. And next Friday, we're going to have Chris Crawford on,
nice.
and he's going to talk to us about the land zoning and planning and
Oh yeah,
zoning.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a big
because that's
topic.
been an
Yeah,
issue for everybody. The urban service area, and he has some information that he can share with us. So I
Right.
talked with him briefly, and it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, good. Sweet. Good deal.
All right.
All right. We'll close it out. We appreciate it, everybody, for joining us on the board report brought to you IRC Media and Indian River Connections.